What's up, audit fans? Dr. Amanda White here, and today I want to talk about getting a job during COVID-19. We know that we all come to university and to college to study, to try and increase our opportunities, increase our knowledge and our skills, to hopefully give ourselves, a career that we love and more financial stability in the future. I'm going to read to you a quote here by Andrew Norton. He is a higher education commentator and analyst in his blog post from graduate employment prospects during the COVID-19 recession. And he's looked at economic downturns in graduate employment. Historically, each downturn peaks at worse graduate employment outcomes than the previous period. The COVID-19 recession is likely to fit this pattern and deliver record high graduate unemployment. Not only is it likely to be the most severe recession in living memory, but it has already caused massive job losses in industries that are significant graduate employers. So what does that mean? He's saying that every time we have a recession, there is also accompanying high levels of graduate unemployment. And every time we have a recession, it gets worse. The levels of graduate unemployment get worse. So what can you do to try and make sure you're not a statistic? Today, I'm going to look at 5 things that you can do to try and give yourself the best chance at getting a job after graduation. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my regular subscribers. Hi, if you're new, my name is Amanda. I teach accounting, specifically auditing, at a major Australian university, and all of the opinions that I say here in this video are mine and mine alone. Now, COVID-19 has changed what education has been like. It's changed how I've taught, how my colleagues have taught, how we've run exams, how we've done assessments, and it certainly is going to change the graduate employment landscape. I've spent the last 6 months on and off talking with graduates, people who have got jobs, people who are still trying to get jobs, graduate employers. I've been to research, to seminars where they've talked about, what policies they're looking at with hiring new graduates. I've been looking at statistics and reports. And as Andrew Norton summed up in his piece on his blog, and I'll make sure I link that in the description, it's not looking great for graduates. So what can you do to try and recession-proof yourself and increase your chances at getting a job? Well, the first one and the most, I think the best chance is to get yourself a summer internship or vacation job. Here in Australia, over the summer period, which is typically November through to about January, February, all of our major employers run vacation or intern programs. They're all paid programs. I don't think very many of them are unpaid under our work laws, but those summer vacation and intern positions are an audition for a graduate job. Employers tell us that this is their chance to see whether you're a good fit. Do you believe in the company's ethos? Do you fit in well with other employees? Do you pick up the information that's needed to be able to do your tasks quickly? So don't treat your summer intern or vacation job as just a bit of a holiday or a bit of a lark. Take it really seriously. Prepare yourself for it. And that means right now getting ready and applying for summer vacation and internship positions. All the big 4 here in Australia are still running their intern and vacation programs. So it's really important to try and get one of those, because that is the first step. When they look at graduate employment, our big accounting firms, our big employers are looking at their vacation and their intern people first. And those people get job offers before anybody else. So it's really, really important, if you can get one of these, grab onto that opportunity with both hands and take advantage of it. Now, the second thing that you can do to try and improve your skills is to do a virtual internship. Now, if you go to InsideSherpa.com, it's an Australian startup, there are hundreds of different virtual internships set up by companies. Grant Thornton has one about auditing, for example. KPMG has one that I've talked about before on data analytics. Certainly, the companies that run these internships have set them up, have designed them, do get details of the people who've completed them, but they're not necessarily using these as a filtering process for getting a job. So just completing a virtual internship isn't going to get you a grad job, but it is going to show them on your CV that you're willing to work hard, to learn more things, and show dedication. So these virtual internships are really great. Now, if you get to a point where you find a website that says, you can do a virtual internship and it costs you, then really consider about whether that cost is appropriate or not. I know a lot of international students can't get one of our domestic internships because they require citizenship or permanent residency, and they might think paying thousands of dollars for one of these internships might be suitable. Before you take the plunge and pay for one, look into it really carefully. Talk to people who have done these internships before. Has it been helpful in getting a job? Really do your research, because we know that there are some predatory internship companies out there that are just simply taking people's money, and then you end up being cheap labor doing stationery work or photocopying or filing. Without really getting that experience that helps you, it's the whole purpose of an internship. So if you're looking at an online internship or one that asks you to pay, for you to pay rather than you get paid, definitely think about that really carefully. Now, when graduate employers are looking at your CVs, they're also looking for other work experience. So there's a great Instagram account called UniSimplified by a great guy, Alex, who used to be a head tutor in management accounting at the University of Melbourne. He's now home in Indonesia, so big hi to Alex. But he made a really good point on Instagram this week, and he said, there is a certain threshold when it comes to marks. You don't need to get all HDs, but there is a certain level, and it's definitely not the pass level. So yeah, you've passed your university degree, but graduate employers tend to want to see slightly better results than that. The feeling that I get, and in talking to a lot of people, is that the credit average, which is usually 65 to 75 at my institution, is where you want to be as a minimum. That's going to get you in the game and in the door. So make sure that you're studying really hard. But they're also looking for other skills. What sort of work experience do you have? What sort of organizational skills do you have? Now, you might have a casual job, which is fantastic. You could be a volunteer. So if you're a student and you're thinking, oh, look, I haven't had much experience at leadership, try volunteering for one of your clubs and societies. Be the events leader or the education leader, or help out on different activities, because volunteering with a university club or society, with a church, with a sporting group, with a community group, Rotary, Lions Club, all of those sorts of activities really help build your character. They give you lots on your CV that can be really useful. Now remember as well, while you're getting all this extra experience, make sure you put it on your LinkedIn CV, because that's something everyone is going to look at. Make sure you've got a nice photo on your LinkedIn profile. Usually your university can help you with that. But building that experience in your CV, in LinkedIn, is really, really important. Now, the other thing, I think I said I was going to talk about 5 things. Number 4 is going to be to increase your skill set. So you're in competition with everyone else. You want to be impressive on your CV, so that means learning additional skills. That could be courses through LinkedIn Learning, which a lot of universities have access to LinkedIn Learning, and when you complete your LinkedIn Learning studies, you'll get a micro-credential type badge as well to put on LinkedIn Learning. You might look at areas like data analytics and data science. That's certainly something that a lot of people are looking at, visualization skills. So that could include learning Tableau, learning Python, learning R, in those sorts of areas. You can also learn off lots of free courses on YouTube as well. Now, the other option, and we're seeing this in potential applications through our university admissions, is that university admissions for 2021 are just skyrocketing, which means there's going to be a lot of competition to get into places because everyone's worried about getting a job. So we're definitely going to see more people come into higher education, and that might mean that you need to consider, is another degree a way to go. Now, that's not going to be suitable for everyone because obviously more degrees cost more money, and you're going to have to support yourself while you do another degree. But a lot of people turn to another qualification, a master's program, for example, in a adjacent but different discipline like business analytics or data analytics or something similar, and maybe wait out the worst of the grad job recession while you're in higher education. Of course, that means that it's going to be super competitive when you get out as well. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about before I talk about my fifth tip is, what about international students? We have lots of international students here in Australia studying, and it's one of our largest exports. And what is really attractive in Australia is the post-study work rights visa. So, once you've completed your undergraduate program or your master's program, you will get a number of years to find work full-time here in Australia. But that precludes you from applying for vacation positions and graduate jobs, because almost all of them say we're only open to Australian citizens and permanent resident visa holders, which makes it really, really difficult for international students. So there's this huge reluctance, and I've talked with many Big Four firms and people in the firms about, why can't you hire international students? I have great international students who have great language skills, have great experience, maybe have been accountants before, and they say the visa situation is too hard to navigate, and that's just really, really shitty. It's been a problem for over a decade now. So there is the possibility of doing more study. There's a longer you study. I think there's also a longer post-study work rights visa. But the other thing to consider might be, when you can travel again, if you're in the early stages of your program, is it worth trying to go home to your home country to get an internship or some sort of summer job in your industry while the university is on break? And also consider graduate recruitment in your home country. So while you might have an Australian education, I think it's going to be very difficult. And I had a question on one of my YouTube videos this week that was also about, I'm a skilled accountant from India or from Bangladesh or anywhere else around the world. I've got my qualification. What are my chances of getting a job in Australia? At the moment, the industry is really tight. Everywhere in accounting and finance in general. It's definitely hit harder in marketing because that's often considered a bit of a luxury spend by organizations, but we're seeing more jobs in business restructuring and insolvency. More jobs, the jobs tend to be in traditional audit and tax, less so in consulting, because most businesses will see consulting as their luxury item. Most universities in Australia have cut all of their consulting spend because they just can't afford it in our current financial situation. So if you were thinking of moving to Australia under our skilled migration laws, it's going to be pretty tough to try and get a job right now. It's tough for our graduates who have their citizenship and their visa and some experience. So it is pretty tight in the market. So just think about that before you consider coming over. If you're working at a Big Four or an international company, see if they can sponsor you if you're thinking about moving here. So what is my last tip? What is the thing that I think is really going to be important in this next 3 to 4 years of trying to find a job? And the key is perseverance. Don't give up. Keep going. It's going to, you might have to apply for hundreds of jobs. It is going to be extra competitive. During this time, while you're persevering, also think about networking. So if you're interested in becoming a CPA runs fantastic networking events. You can think about starting your professional qualification. So you can start the CA and the CPA program without a job. And I believe the same also for the IPA Australia programs, the Public Accountants program. But we see more people tend to go into CA and CPA. But you can start that professional qualification now. Do the subjects, go to the classes online, complete the coursework, so that then you can say, well, actually the only thing that I need is the job to get the professional experience. Once you've got that mentored experience, you can tick off and become fully qualified. So that's one thing to consider. And don't look at just grad recruitment for jobs. So consider LinkedIn, lots of jobs on LinkedIn. Look at campus job services if you're at a university or a higher education institution. They will have, look for something part-time even. And a lot of universities are offering their career services to graduates after they graduate. And also consider using a recruitment agency. I know I haven't painted a really bright picture here for graduates, but accounting is one of these key areas that is still looking at hiring people, just less than before. So the key is going to be to keep at it, keep persevering, keep upskilling, keep networking. And if something comes along that's not perfect, but would be something that you'd be interested in doing, even if it's 1 day a week or 2 days a week, that foot in the door is the first step you need to the stepping stone of your career in these tumultuous times. So I hope you're all staying safe. Thank you to everybody who's working as a truck driver, in a grocery store, at the post office, at a online shop or a fulfillment center. We're not surviving without those people in those jobs, people in logistics, people who are working as cleaners, who are working in hospitals. It's a really tough time. So I hope everybody stays safe, stay well, and I'll talk to you again soon.